Welcome to Sex Education. My name remains Shimura Henry. I am. Before we get into today's segment, in today's section, unfortunately, we are short staffed today. So it's likely it's going to be just me or me and Don. Marvelous Achafo, unfortunately, is not going to be here today. He had informed us earlier that he's going to be absent on today's program on sex education. But regardless, we're still going to have a hot, pressing conversation, which is sex taping, OnlyFans, sex filming, and self-recording. So if you're just joining us, just look for a convenient place to relax, and make sure you have your keypads open, because I would love you to, type in your suggestion, type in your opinion in the comment section. We're going to be using the comment section a lot today on this topic. We all know that last week T.Y. Savage, in case you don't know who T.Y. Savage is, T.Y. Savage is a Nigerian celebrity, and she had a scandal, right? T.Y. Savage had a scandal 2 weeks ago, which her nude video was leaked, and so many people are talking about this. And the reality is that on our sexual adventure, there is a time your boyfriend will be like, baby, Kilode, I want you to film us having sex so that I can keep it for our memory. I just feel like, when we're having sex, it turns me on. And that is the conversation for today. But before we dive into this topic, I just want to open the show, and then we're just going to go with our intro, and I'll be right back.
Is the best show in town. It is the best LGBTQIA show. So darling, why haven't you subscribed? Monday to Thursday, bringing you breaking news Wahala. On Friday, sex education. And Saturday, burning questions. You know, all those questions you've been thinking of asking. Saturday is the day for you, darling. Ask your questions about religion, your questions about what you want to know about us, your question about anything. You can access anything on Saturdays doing burning questions. And you know one thing, you could to be the lucky winner to win our giveaways on Saturdays. And on Sundays, to crown it all, we have the market women and shade girls. So darling, why do you want to miss out on all these interesting things? Help this channel by clicking the subscribe button.
Welcome back to Sex Education. Thank you for tuning in. You guys are trying. You guys are always here for us as Qrealtalk, and also to have this very important educational conversation about sex. We know this generation has a different view about sex, and our generation is evolving. The previous generation, our fathers, mothers, uncles and aunties had a whole different concept about sex. In their own generation, people felt like having sex or talking about sex was a taboo. But this generation is quite different, because we love to have this conversation on sex, how to better our sexual experience, and what not to do in this present generation. Before we went on that brief introduction, I talked about T.Y. Savage scandal, and people have been talking. Minus that, in case you're not a Nigerian and you don't know who T.Y. Savage is, Google is your best friend. So just Google T.Y. Savage and Google her sex video, and you know what I'm talking about. Sorry, unfortunately, I don't have the videos on the studio to show you guys. And again, this week, what happens? Cross comes out with his own nude video. So nude and OnlyFans has become the talk of the day. And thank you, Chebuka, for joining us. Chebuka Michael, I see your comments. So please, guys, put in your comments. So now, my boyfriend wants me to film our sexual encounter, and he says it turns him on when he has us filming. What should I do? What are the advantages? Sex taping, does it help you in advance in your sexual experience, or is it a no for you? I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. Please put your suggestion in the comment section, because you are the only people I'm going to be interacting with today, as I have no other person in the studio with me. So back to our topic. So, for example, now, sometimes you want to have sex, and sex is a beautiful thing. You get all deep down. Does it become odd when you have the camera staring at you, or is this something that turns you on? What are the things you feel that you should not do when the camera is on you? Because we know so many people have started doing OnlyFans these days. A lot of our community members are into, OnlyFans and sex work, which is not a bad thing per se. Like the difference between an OnlyFans star and a porn star is that an OnlyFans star is an amateur who is just coming into the industry. You're just starting for the first time. You don't even need to belong to a brand. You don't need to belong to an agency. You just pick up your phone, you film, and then you edit it with your phone. You put it on people like your content, which is honestly part of a content creator. Why a porn star is someone who belongs to, a particular agency. The porn star has gone for so many auditions. The porn star has been trained. If you believe it or not, or if you like it or not, porn stars are trained in their career. So it is a career-based internship that you go through. They train you on what to do and what not to do. So that is why whenever you see porn has like a different feel from OnlyFans X-rated entertainment. And the difference is that because they are professionals who are getting filmed, they know the angles of the camera, they know how to mourn, they know where to look at. So if you are into filming, your encounter, your boyfriend and you and your partner likes those kind of things, the first thing you need to know is that you cannot look at the camera. You must always understand that this camera it's beautiful, it's lovely, but you can't just be staring. You're filming yourself, and I'm talking about those who are trying to, do OnlyFans for the first time, who want to put it out to the public. We're going to have this conversation where people do it just for themselves and just to store it in their phones later. So if you're just doing it, you're just starting as an amateur, you want to do, film yourself, the first thing you need to know is you can't look at the camera. Once that camera rolls, forget that that camera is even staring at you like right now. Just focus on the moment. You must focus on the moment. Enjoy the encounter. Enjoy the section. That is the first thing you need to realize, is that you're trying to please yourself and you're trying to please your partner. You're not trying to please the camera or please the audience. So that is the first thing you need to consider if you're going to go into sex taping and sex filming and X-rated content. You must invest so much in yourself. The second thing is that you must invest also in your equipment. So if you're going to be filming yourself, make sure you're using a good phone. Nobody wants to watch your stuff on a crappy phone, because like it is your image you're putting out there at any point in time. If you are ever doing a sex tape, in the sense that if you're doing it for it to be out there or not to be out there, so make sure you are being filmed with a proper camera. You're getting, at least, so that if the thing leak, you look good. If the thing leaks, you still look good, and your image and your reputation is not at fault, doesn't degrade. Unlike the leaked videos, we've seen people who their videos have leaked, and when you see the video, you'll be like, what is this? What is wrong? You'll be looking like, you'll be looking like something else. So the first thing is, make sure that the video or the camera you're using is top notch, is up to quality. The second thing I talked about, don't look at the lenses. The third thing, look at the good angles. Where are you going to be filming from? In film production, if you guys want to learn more about filming, we'll be starting a filming class very soon. In film production, there's what we call the master shot, there's what we call the close up, and there's what we call the extreme close up. And these angles are important in any style of film making, which in adult content, it's still relevant. You're getting, please throw in your questions about this topic. I'll be watching at the comment section for your questions and your suggestions. So in actor filmmaking, the same rules of filmmaking applies. So make sure you have a good wide angle. So the wide angle is typically like what it says, the wide shot, where we see you and your partner making out, doing all the smooshing, the kissing, the lovey-lovey, the foreplay, and then get into the action. Then in the close up, that is where we see the main genitals, where we see the penetration, we see the kissing, we see the deeper content. You need to learn how to cut in between. If you're the one editing your stuff, you need to learn how to cut in between to make sure that as the viewers are watching, they can kind of not just peep at you, but they can enjoy the moment with you. So the whole thing is that they need to enjoy that moment with you, just as you are enjoying it. So take your time and film your content well. Film it up to touch note, edit it properly. And the fourth thing, one, when you are creating adult content, what sells the adult content is the sound. The sound is of essence when you're doing adult content. Don't mind that I'm smiling, no, I'm just smiling because the topic is a little bit, it's a little bit somehow, but at the same time I'm going to try to keep it as professional as possible. So try to make sure that you are mourning good, and all from beginning to the end, everything is like an action and thereabout. So in a situation where you have filmed your adult content and now you weren't filming it for the public, you were just filming it for your boyfriend, for your relationship. That is what you guys just like to keep it for memory in case maybe he's not there. You could use it to self-play, masturbate. That is another reason why people sex tape. It's not that they want to make money off it or they are only fan content creator. Some people just film themselves because they just enjoy the pleasure. It's more like a fantasy, filming yourself. It's one of those things you just fantasize about. In such a situation where you don't want the general public to see it, where can you store your sex content that people can see? I need you guys to comment. Please comment. Let me see what you guys think about this topic. Michael says this video something is not really for me. I feel it's not safe. Yeah, the same way too. I feel it's not safe, but in certain situation, you get into relationship where people say, okay, this is one of my fantasies. This is what I like. This is what turns me on. Because I've been in a situation where somebody says, see, if we don't film, I don't get an erection. And in such situation, you have to kind of compromise to see how to make that relationship last or make that sexual experience last or happen. So they ought to be a form of compromise. So in a situation where you don't like it but your partner does, the question here is, okay, what do we do? Because there are so many options even in filming. Sometimes you may want to show your face. For example, another example is like you may want to wear masks in case it gets leaked. If you're somebody who okay, you don't want people to know who is in the video, I think the first thing in filming is that try to blur your face, try to mask your face, try to take the necessary precautions so that in case the unexpected happened, you still have a level of privacy even with the video leaking. And I feel that was what didn't happen in the case of T.Y. Savage and in the case of all the celebrities who have their sex tape leaked. On a second thought, maybe she wanted the tape, out there. She wanted the tape. She wanted it as a or what is it called, a publicity stunt. Who knows? But in a situation where you don't want it, I feel there are necessary things you could do to make sure that your privacy is still retained. Wear a face mask, cover your face, blur the footage. Make sure, okay, your boyfriend and you are filming something. Whose phone are you using? Are you using my phone? Are we using your phone? If you are using your phone, how many people get access to your phone? These are the questions you need to ask. If you're using my phone, how many people have access to my phone? If it gets leaked, who is going to own up to the responsibility of it? Are we going to store it on iCloud? Are we going to store it on our SD drive? Are we just going to film it and then delete it? So these are the questions you need to ask, especially when you have yourself filmed. But there are instances where you go for a hookup, right? Because I've seen some situation where a friend went for a hookup. He didn't know he was recorded. He walked into the room. He didn't see no camera. He checked everywhere. They never had a conversation of filming themselves. But after the whole thing, he sees himself on Pornhub. What do you do? Because sometimes the cameras we use these days are very small. They're very tiny cameras. You could hide them in the bulb, you could hide them behind the clock. They could be security cameras with the footage, and then boom, your porno is on Pornhub. So in such situations, like we said before, have this conversation about filming each other and make sure you get to know the person you are going to hook up with, which is a conversation we've had so many times. We've talked about this in, how to bottom in our previous episode. You must communicate in sex. There must be that communication, even in that situation where you guys are chatting, talking, getting to know each other. Ask about, well, babes, what's your sexual fantasy? What turns you on? What do you like to do? Are you somebody who owns an OnlyFans content? Do a little bit investigation about the person you're about to go meet, because that may help you in the long run. In the situation of TY Savage, I don't know what happened. I don't know this other guy in the video, but like for me, when I saw the picture, because I didn't see the video, right? I'm not straight. So when I saw the pictures, I'm like, first thing I noticed was that the angles were wrong. TY Savage looked a mess. You're getting that is the last thing you want. If people are going to see you naked, they should not see you in a mess. They should see you in your glorious nudity, because your nudity should be glorious. So they should see you in your best if you ever think you're going for a hookup of anytime, especially knowing that Tiwa Savage wasn't in a relationship, and knowing that in this community, most of us are not in a relationship. So most of us just go for random hookup. So even if you're going for a random hookup, I think you should have some make do. You should have some makeover. Make sure you put those makeups. Make sure your hair is done. Make sure that you are looking the best of the best in case anything happens. That is just to take precaution in this situation. Like we've talked again, have this conversation about sex taping. And if you're somebody who is into it, sorry, my drawer just opened. I think it should be one of my clothes that just fell. So have this conversation about filming your whole encounter. This is so weird. It's so weird that in the middle of live streaming, the drawer just opened. Oh my god. It is Spooky Friday. Spooky Friday. So have this conversation about self taping. What do I think about sex taping? It's not a bad idea. It's a fantasy. It could work if you're into it, if you want it to work. If you guys have had the conversation about sex taping yourself, you both of you are prepared for the advantages and the disadvantages. The advantages is that one, it can spicing up your sexual activity. For example, when you know this is going to be on the internet, when you know people are going to be watching you, you want to put in your best, right? You want to kiss passionately, you want to pound passionately, you want to mourn your best, you want to get the right angle, and then apart from that, you will build up a brand for yourself. Is if that is the way you want to go to. You're getting, if you and your partner want to become, a sex couple who teach people how to have sex, or who help people with their sexual, enhancement and erection, with just feeding them with your own experience. There are some people who have this vibe. I don't know if it's called it vibe or fetish, where they don't have sex, they don't have erection, but they love to watch other people have erection, which for a long time many people felt it's weird. But in this generation, we kind of feel, yeah, it's okay. It's one of the fetish people do have, because as people begin to age and begin to, advance in body, most people's sexual erection and sexual urges begin to die. It's really seen among elderly, old, queer people. Let's say people in their 50s, people in their 60s, where they no longer fantasize having sex with people because they've had a long sexual life, and sex becomes very boring to them, because when they have sex it's the same old thing. So for them to enhance the way they have sex, they're like, okay, you know what, I just want to see younger people who are just having sex for the first time, because their blood is all boiling, because they are new to this. I just want to see that fire. I just want to watch them and I'm going to please myself as they watch them. That is one way people have their own fetish, and no judgment to those people who have such fetish. We understand you, darling. But at the same time, there are so many people who are not into that fetish. And since I'm not getting any comment from you guys, I don't know how to get this conversation. I need your opinion. Honestly need your opinion on this conversation. So we've talked about people who like such fetish, who are into this, and it is a fetish. Secondly, like I said, you could build a brand for yourself. Those are the advantages. It could help you spice up your relationship or your sex life. If your sex life is becoming boring, if sex is no longer, what you feel, you could add filming. Who knows? It spices it up. And the disadvantage, many people get to see the video, many people have an opinion about you, many people are going to be seeing your body. And even though in this community we've said we are not going to body shame so many people, and they will be like, oh my god, I don't want to body shame people, right? I don't want to say this and do this and but at the end of the whole day, people still get to give you their opinion about you. Some people feel maybe you're too fat, some people feel maybe you're too skinny, some people feel you are not sexy in that way to them. So people are going to be trolling at you and giving you their opinion, which will not be all rosy. So you need to prepare your mind mentally if you are going to be taping your encounters and putting it out there on the internet, that not everybody is going to be happy with you. Family members may have opinion concerning that. Relatives, not just relative, family members may have opinion concerning you and the embarrassment they feel you're bringing to them. But at the end of the whole day, if it works for you, if that is where you want to go, to do what makes you happy. And we've had a lot of conversation, and I haven't had any comment for almost 20 something minutes we've been talking. Please drop your comment in this comment section. Let me know what you guys think about this conversation. Self-recording. So we've talked about sex taping. Sex taping is when you and someone, you are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, org, are having a sex tape. Now, self-taping is where you are just taping yourself all by yourself. It's just like a new way of masturbating, but you're not masturbating alone, but you are masturbating with people on the other side, just like I am having a conversation with just myself here, but with people watching me from the other end of the stream. So that is what self-recording is. And we see a lot of self-recording happening in places like Brazil and Indonesia. They do a lot of webcam sex. And if you're watching through Pornhub, you're going to see all those adverts be like, oh, why do you want to nut? That nut until you nut it with us. So that is one new thing that has been advancing in sex. And yes, it is another form of sexual pleasure, because at the end of the whole day, you can't always be in a relationship. Things do happen. Partners do break up relationship. Partners do die. Sometimes you may find yourself in a space where you are alone. You've been having great sex, and now you are all alone to, please yourself half of the time. And then you want to incorporate another second partner, which is not a human partner but a camera, into your masturbation scene. And again, like I said, it could be very, very awkward. Remember, it could be very awkward because it's just you and a camera, no other person. Still, the same rules apply. Like for any filming section, do not stare at the lens of the camera. I can't say this over and over. If you watch some of Zamani's video, or if you watch some of, the previous porn stars, your favorite porn stars, or the porn you watch, I don't know what you guys watch, you'll see that you never see them glance at the camera, which is the big difference between a porn star and an amateur or an OnlyFans content creator. Because all of them be like, oh my god, am I looking good? Oh my god, let me adjust, let me put this which is not supposed to be so. Remember, it's not about you. even though it's about you. It's about the people who are going to be watching later. And for those of you who are going to be watching this video later, after we've live streamed it, thank you for always coming back to watch our pre-recorded or our live stream rather. Thank you for supporting this channel. For all of you watching and I will be watching, please make sure you have subscribed to Sex Education, because you are not just benefiting from it, you are you are enjoying this content. It is helping and spicing up your relationship life. Now, going back to the conversation, sex self-taping could be very awkward when you're alone, but many people are into it and have mastered this craft of self-taping. Apart from not looking at the lenses, the second thing you need to remember is that you still need to bring out your A game. What do you want to look like? What will be that image? Because you're self-taping, right? You're not just self-taping it to just keep it on your phone. Definitely those who self-tape and sex tape do it so that they can put it on a platform where people can get to watch it, where they get some money back, which is a very, I repeat, a very tangible career. Sex work is a reputable and a very legal career in America and in Canada. I don't know about other nations, but in America and Canada, sex work is a work, it's a job. And when you want to start sex work is a job you could start, with little or no investment. You could start with your cameras. Especially, I think filming sex, when the camera came into our sex life, it really advanced the way we had sex. Because from porn we have learned so many terms and so many styles we wouldn't have known. The people who were to teach us about sex would have been our father or our mother, and our grandparents. They'd be like, take it easy, make sure you give him food and da 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 da. And they were not great teachers. Kudos to them. They taught us what they could teach us, but the internet has taught us diverse position, missionary, cowboy, reverse cowboy, doggy style. We know all these terms thanks to the camera, thanks to the internet. So the internet has even advanced our sexual life and our sexual pleasure. But the annoying thing is that most of us don't appreciate our porn stars and our porn and our internet the way we need to appreciate it, because it has helped your sex life. It has helped my sex life. It has made us better people in sex, and we cannot deny that. We deny that fact. But back to our conversation, like I said before. So when you are doing it alone and when you're starting off new, you need to make sure that if you are masturbating alone, you have all the right equipment. Nobody wants to see you using saliva to masturbate online. That's going to be weird. The same rules, like we've said over and over, still applies. Make sure you have the proper lubrication. Lubricants are very, very essential. It helps to stop tears in your genitals. It helps to make your skin, believe it or not, it helps to make your skin more healthy, because you're not going to have all these wounds. When you're stroking and everything, you could tear and you could injure and hurt yourself. It's going to prevent you from all these wounds on your private parts on your body. It's going to make sure that your skin is moisturized, because some of the lubricant do have some healthy vitamins in them to make your skin glow. Far from that, use the right thing. If you're going to be a self-recording alone, make sure you also have some of your toys, because it's going to help make that scene not weird. Having like your doodle, having like your vibrators, those things are going to help you. Remember, it is all about your own experience. If you are not enjoying it, if you are not speaking, it's just like me coming here now and I'm trying to talk, oh my god, you wouldn't be able to hear me. So I have to be able to first come here, feel comfortable with myself, feel comfortable with having this conversation, and then you at the other end will be comfortable enough to understand and enjoy the same section, because myself, I'm enjoying what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. That is the same thing when you are self-recording. You need to remember that your experiences is all about you. You are the king. You are the man of the moment. Let nothing take that away from you. Once you realize that you are the person of the moment, make sure you are enjoying. So, for example, if you're a bottom and you are using dildos, make sure you have douche the same thing, because if you do not douche, you are not going to enjoy your sex. Bottoms, you need to make sure you use the washroom, you douche properly, you make sure the water you're using, like we've always said, it should be a warm what's the word? It should be a warm water, at a room temperature water. Make sure you're using room temperature water. It should not be cold water. Please do not put cold water into your anal walls. Please do not put hot water. Hot water is gonna burn your walls. Cold water is gonna freeze those walls. So it has to be lukewarm waters that you are using to douche. Like we've said in previous topic, you must use a douche bottle. That is one way. So if you don't have a douche bottle, a regular ever water bottle for those in Nigeria, or yeah, for those in Nigeria, ever water. For those here, you can always get a douche bottle from, the sex toy, or you could use your shower head, the hose, to douche. Make sure you douche properly, because the last thing we want to be seeing is things abacha coming out from you from your video. Nobody wants to see that. It has to be as clean as possible, because if you are not clean on the internet, then honey, how are we sure you are clean? So personal hygiene still comes in when you are self taping. I know I didn't talk about this before, but personal hygiene comes in. Make sure that your areas are shaved, make sure you have douche, make sure your toys are kept clean and healthy. How you treat your toy will determine if you're going to have STDs or STIs. Especially when you're having sex toys in your encounter, you can't share these sex toys with other people apart from the people you're in a relationship with. For example, if you have a dildo or a vibrator, your friend cannot be using the dildo, you be using the dildo, a stranger be using the dildo. Before you know, there are so many particles on that dildo. So you need to make sure that once you are done, or even before you use your dildo, you sanitize that boy, you sanitize that shit. When you sanitize it, you make sure you done, you wipe it, and once you are done with it, make sure again you sanitize it. Where you store your sex toys are very important. You can't just store them for any, especially if you have kids around your home, if you have pet around your home, you don't want your dog having your dildo in his mouth and walking everywhere, right? So you need to make sure you store them in a place that animals and kids can reach them. You need to make sure you store them in something like a container where germs and particles can get into, so that when you want to use them again, they are clean. And when you are using them on the scene, make sure you still take it easy and gentle as you start, and then you could go at the pace. So, for example, the vibrators do have different levels when you turn them on. Vibrators go from a high level, a low level to a medium level to a high level. I don't know what those frequencies are called, but it has different frequency. So you start with the lowest frequency on your dildo or your vibrator, in case you have a dildo that is electronically powered. You start with the lowest, and then you gradually go to the medium, and then you could go to any of the frequency you want, the way you want it. You start slowly. Remember, start slowly, start gently, start easy, and then go at your pace. So any question, you guys should drop it in the in the comment section. If you don't have any question, I'm just going to give a recap, and that will be it for sex education today. Like I said earlier, sex taping is very important. It can help to spice up your relationship. Darling, I can't tell you how much it can help to save your relationship. One, it helps you to, rediscover yourself. You're going to see what you look like when you're having sex. You're going to look back at that video and be like, I feel like it was painful. There's some porn video you watch. I don't want to call names, but there is a particular porn star. Anytime you watch his video, you're like, man, this nigga ain't having no pleasure. It's like pain, 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 pain through. You're going to see what your body language looks like when you're having sex. You're going to discover so many things about you didn't know about yourself. Especially like even in normal filming, sometimes once the camera comes on, you see people who just begin to act strange. And it is normal, it is natural for when you know that something is pointed at you. You're like, hello, how are you doing? So you begin to add word. You don't talk like that, especially when we call people on set, like I myself, I'm a film producer, right? When I go on set and we are having new actors or upcoming actors, and we're like, action. And then you say, how are you? How are you doing? Then you're like, what the hell is happening to you? That is not how you have conversation. We don't want you to pretend that you are enjoying. We want to see you actually enjoying. So the end goal is for you to enjoy the moment. Have that moment. It is your moment. You are the star of the show. Believe it or not, you must be authentic. That is why I'm not saying go look at other people's porn or try to be like this person or try to act like this person. And that is the mentality most people, when they are safe taping, they're like, oh, I want to be like my porn star. You know, I want to act like Zamani. I want to act like this person. I want to act like that. You know, I want it all. But in a natural way, that is not how you have sex. And the way you have sex could be the best way, because that is your authentic self. All you could do is to advance in the way you have sex by making sure that you are incorporating more positions, more styles, and more tips in your sexual encounter. Like I said, you can never pretend if you are bad, it would be bad. So if you're going to ever self tape yourself, make sure that you know the, like we spoke about, you know the advantages. A lot of people are going to be seeing that self tape. If you want it or not, if it leaks or not, if you post it or not, people are going to be seeing it. One person will see it and pass it to another person. Before you know, porn spreads like fire. You can't believe porn spreads like fire. So sorry, excuse me, be at your best when you are recording. Try to enjoy the moment. Like I said earlier, personal hygiene, like we talked about before, is very important. People don't, there are some people who like hair. There are some people who find that having too much hair is disgusting. So I feel the best thing you should do is to shave. If you check half of the porno you see, especially in the porn industry, you see most of the porn actors are always clean shaved. It is for a reason. And we talked about shaving before sex. You can't shave the day or 2 hours or 3 hours before your sexual encounter. You have to shave 2 days or a day, so that in case you have any wounds, those wounds would have healed. And again, we talked about also sanitizing. So sometimes when you want to have sex, especially for butter, sometimes you could take like, it's weird, but I do sometimes. You could take like spirit, or you could take like alcohol, and you could rub in between there to see. After you finish shaving, you put like alcohol or spirit or whatever you use to, you know, rub between there. Once you rub it, you're going to feel the heat and the sensation if you have a blade bump. Because many times when we are shaving, you will always have a blade bump unless you are using hair removal products like nails. So if you're using hair removal products, then you may likely not have razor bump. But if you're going to shave with shaving stick or blades or creeper or whatever you're going to use, make sure you sanitize that area to know if there is a wound in your walls, if there's a wound in your genitals. Make sure even before you ever sex tape, look at the mirror and see if you have bumps. Nobody wants to see kwakwa. We know like kwakwa. The last thing you want to do is to self tape and then boom, there are pimples, rashes, or bumps, or even syphilis scars. Ah, darling, you need to make sure that you prepare that place, because the whole world is coming to see you. The whole world is going to be seeing your nakedness. Like I said, bring out the best in you. If you have scars, or if you have acne, if you have anything in that area, treat it. Get to see your doctor. Make sure you are healthy. That is for the personal hygiene part. If you're going to have a second person on the set, recording or filming or self-taping or whatever you're doing, or you're going to be using objects like I've talked about, make sure you know their health status, you know their HIV, you know their STD and STI. They are free before you involve yourself, because apart from you enjoying, you don't want to have 5 minutes of fun and then an everlasting change in health. So make sure that you have this conversation with whoever you are going to be having an encounter with. And if you're going to be using objects, like I spoke before, make sure they are clean. And that is it for me because I'm not seeing any of your comments. We have talked about sex taping today. We have talked about self-recording gay sex. It is very important. Like I said, make sure you douche. The last thing you want to do is to embarrass yourself online. Are there any comments? I'm going to be waiting now. If you're watching me and you have any comments, in place of no comments, then we'll call it up for a wrap today as my wed wardrobe just opened all of a sudden, which is weird. This is the first time it ever happened when streaming. That thing has been there. It did not open or since it is until it started filming. But anyways, thank you guys for being on here again on another episode of Sex Education. Like I said before, our co-host Marvelous Achafo wasn't able to be here today because we said his phone is bad, and we're trying our best to see how to get him a new phone and how to make sure he's back because we miss him. I miss him. I don't want to be talking to just myself and to 4 or 10 other people at behind the screen. I want to see somebody to have a conversation which makes the whole show interesting. I want to have a conversation with you guys. Nobody is commenting. I don't know what is happening behind those camera. I guess this is a conversation most people are not interested in because most of us don't like self-taping. But like I said, there are situations that will happen and you just discover that you are in a situation where there is a camera present when you're having an encounter. And I told you what to do so it doesn't become awkward. But and also Dot wasn't able to join us today. I'm the only person who has been here. And thank you guys for always being with us. We're going to be having more conversation concerning health, sex, and tomorrow we still have the burning question. Hopefully, Mr. Achafo is going to be with us tomorrow on burning questions, where we are going to have a very interesting conversation again. And Sunday, we are likely going to be having the market women and shade corner. So please subscribe, please share, please make sure you tell people about Qrealtalk. Thank you for joining us and do have a happy weekend.